the CBS News Chicago First Alert Weather Team. This is a special weather alert.
I'm meteorologist Kylee Miller with a weather update. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up for DeKalb County. Winds gusting upwards of 70 miles per hour, putting it in that considerable category. If you're in DeKalb County, get to your safe place immediately. Saturday, 12:15 a.m. is when this is set to expire, so we still have some time to go as the line is just starting to impact DeKalb County. And then as we look at the following, just towards the south, the severe thunderstorm warning for LaSalle County. Again, the same criteria, wind speed 70 miles per hour, putting it under that considerable category as well. Make sure to get to your safe place, the lowest level of it in your interior room, away from windows and doors. This is zipping pretty quickly. It is moving towards the northeast at 60 miles per hour. Elsewhere, severe thunderstorm watches still in place for all of Cook County, back into McHenry. You can see areas shaded in pink, northern portions of Illinois included in that. A tornado watch to the south. Northwest Indiana not included in any of these watches, but you're not out of the woods. We are still going to be battling some high winds and the potential for some severe storms. You can see this area of low pressure. This is the circulation right here, but this line, this is a quasi-linear convective system. You can see a lot of lightning being associated with it, a lot of strong winds, and even tornadoes, especially for the tail end of that storm system. So putting our high resolution radar on, and the movement, you can see it's moving pretty quickly again to DeKalb County, back into LaSalle County under those severe thunderstorm warnings. And as we look ahead, we are going to be in for some very gusty winds, especially ahead of this storm system. Gusts upwards already of about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So we're still in that level 3 to level 4 for that risk scale. The main concerns are going to be wind damage as well as tornadic activity. A few spin-ups will be possible. We've already seen that in other areas of the country from this storm system. But for us here, it's mainly just going to be some strong winds, which could do some damage. And especially for tomorrow, for it being St. Patrick's Day, the river dying, there's a lot of festivities going on. We are going to be in for windy conditions. Those winds are going to be howling for tomorrow as well. But here's a look at the timeline with your hour-by-hour futurecast. So McHenry County back into Aurora, Morris, you will get impacted closer to about midnight. Then it's going to zip through the heart of the city of Chicago, closer to about 12:30, 1 a.m. And then finally moving into northwest Indiana. Whenever we see these oranges and deep reds popping up here on radar, that is indication of heavy downpours. We will have to watch out for cloud ground lightning, and the main concern is going to be that wind damage. But again, a spin-up tornado cannot be ruled out. We are going to dry out rather quickly closer to sun up as we go through tomorrow morning around 7 a.m. But for tonight and tomorrow, we are under weather alerts. Tonight, due to that storm threat, it will continue until about 2 a.m. Again, the main hazards are going to be damaging winds, tornadoes, and that cloud ground lightning. And then as we look ahead to tomorrow, winds gusting over 60 miles per hour. We will have to continue to watch out for sporadic power outages, down tree and power lines. Wind advisories continue until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Then it changes over to a high wind warning until noon, and then back over to a wind advisory. So regardless, it is going to be extremely windy through the storm and after the storm. We could be looking at tomorrow winds gusting upwards of about 40 to even 50 miles per hour, could top out as high as 60 miles per hour. So dying of the river for tomorrow, it is just going to be very blustery with these winds. Mild though, temperatures will be in the 60s. A few flurries and sprinkles on the backside of this system will be possible as temperatures become much cooler on Sunday with a high of 44. St. Patrick's Day on Monday, 61. We're looking at partly cloudy sky conditions. More shower activity is expected on your Wednesday. Spring begins on Thursday. Thursday, mostly cloudy sky conditions, and as we look ahead to Friday, a high of 48. But in the meantime, we have that severe weather threat from now up until 2 a.m. So for these next few hours, make sure you have a way to get weather alerts. Download our CBS News app and make sure your NOAA weather radio is good to go. If not, have the alerts set on your phone. We'll be back with more weather updates throughout the night, so stay with us.
This has been a special weather alert from the CBS News Chicago First Alert Weather Team. Keeping you safer sooner. CBS 2 First Alert Weather. CBS 2 News streams here. CBS News Chicago. Keeping you safer sooner. CBS 2 First Alert Weather. CBS 2 News streams here. CBS News Chicago. Keeping you safer sooner. CBS 2 First Alert Weather. CBS 2 News streams here. CBS News Chicago. From the CBS News Chicago First Alert Weather Team, this is a special weather alert.
We are breaking in because we have a tornado warning. I am just getting my radar set so you can see it. This is for portions of DeKalb County. You can see that red polygon right there. So we have a tornado warning. Damage is possible for DeKalb County as well as Kane County. This goes until midnight tonight. It is radar indicated right now, so I'm going to zoom on in so you can see exactly where it's at, and I'm going to stop this track. So as you can see, we do have a cluster of heavy rain moving through Hinckley back over to DeKalb. We're keeping a very close eye on it here in the Weather Center. So again, we have this tornado warning in place. Here's a little bit more information. So we're also dealing with some rotation from this storm system. So there's a little bit of rotation that is being detected, and that's why we do have that tornado warning. Damage does seem possible at this point. We're going to be seeing if we can get any cameras associated with it. Hail also a possibility with this too. We're looking at some decent sized hailstones. Again, this is all moving up towards the north and towards the east. We're going to go ahead and try to put a tracker on it so you can see exactly what we're seeing and the timing of this. So here's a look at that line. It's moving pretty quickly though, at about 20 miles per hour. So get to your safe place now if you are in Sycamore, back into Pierce, Sandwich, Big Rock. It's going to impact you closer to about 11:45. So again, this is the first tornado warning that we have in the Chicagoland area of this season. You need to get to your safe place immediately, and that's in the lowest level of your home. If you're in an apartment building, you need to get to the lowest level immediately as well. A basement is great, away from windows. Make sure that you have shoes. And again, we're dealing with this nocturnal event happening when a lot of us are sleeping, so that's why we are on with you. It's going to be impacting Caneville at around 11:55, Sugar Grove at 12:06, Blackberry at 12:12, 12:16 Starks, and 12:22 in Bristol. I do want to put the radar back on, and then we are going to be changing it over to the storm relative velocities. So whenever we start to see some of these greens and reds popping up on radar, that means we do have some rotation going on at the surface as well as aloft. So this is all being detected by radar right now. again. So this is a look at where we're dealing with this tornado warning from Hinckley, so parts of DeKalb County, even back into Kane County. So putting the radar back on, and the warning for those just now joining us. So again, a tornado warning for DeKalb and Kane County until midnight tonight. So the current time is about 11:30. So we do have some time to go with this storm system. We are going to be with you every step of the way. This is not the only area that is dealing with some of those severe storms. This is the only tornado warning that we do have right now, but I want to move the radar around so you can see to the north we also have quite a big swath of severe thunderstorm warnings. So I'm going to get rid of this so you can see a little bit more detail. So Boone, DeKalb County, we are under that severe thunderstorm warning. This is in considerable criteria. So if you are in this area too, get to your safe place immediately. It's all along a huge line of showers and storms. And again, dealing with a little bit of rotation happening in parts of DeKalb County, that's eastern sections, and then just extending over into Kane County as well. So this is radar indicated, so we have no confirmation just yet. We're going to keep a close eye on it. So it looks like it's moving through Waterman into Hinckley. Caneville, you're going to get impacted with this storm system probably within the next about 15 minutes. Again, if you're in the Hinckley area, you need to make sure that you're in your safe place. So as I look at the radar, whenever we see some of these reds, that's heavy rainfall. So if there is a tornado on the ground, it could certainly be a rain-wrapped storm system. So let's go ahead and move a little bit further to the south, because I want to keep an eye on other areas just to see if there's any more possible rotation. Again, there's a numerous line of severe thunderstorms that is for other parts of our viewing area, parts of Will County included in that too. So I want to break down a few of these, and as we look at looks like Joliet back into Wilmington. So for Grundy, Kendall, Will, also into Kankakee County. Eastern sections are not included in that. It's just western sections as we're monitoring this storm system. So again, I just want to expand everything out a little bit so we can see in greater detail this storm system and the exact track. I want to track it for you with your hour by hour timing so everyone is going to be prepared. But from Rockford all the way down into LaSalle County and then even into portions of central Illinois. But again, that tornado warning has popped up for DeKalb and Kane County. This goes until midnight tonight. So we're going to stay with you every step of the way. I think that if there is a tornado on the ground, it is rain wrapped. I'm keeping a close eye on what the Weather Service is saying too. Right now, it just seems like we have really strong winds there. It says at least about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. They're trying to get a view of the sky towards Waterman and the Hinckley area right now. So if we can see if there's any cloud of ground lightning, any tornadoes in that area, there's going to be looking at a few areas across that line. But again, this tornado warning with damage possible into DeKalb County, even back into Kane County. And this is all due to a squall line that is pushing off towards the north and east. I do want to send things over to Mary Kay. This just popped up about 5 minutes ago, or even less than that, Mary Kay, and I know you have some newer updates coming in.
Right. I want to give us the big picture, Kylie, because you're talking about a very specific area. We've been talking about severe thunderstorms lining up and moving through on this big squall line, but those individual cells have the opportunity to start to rotate, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with this particular cell. So we do have the tornado warning in effect for DeKalb County and Kane County, and that's until midnight. Now, this is radar indicated rotation, so these are very difficult to see. Of course, it's dark. And as Kylie mentioned, it's wrapped in intense rainfall, and there's so much lightning. We don't have the lightning detection network on right now, because if I turned it on, you wouldn't be able to even pick out where the actual cells are. So we have this intensity that's just building along this line. So if you live near Waterman, that's where the rotation was first observed, and this cell is moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. Radar indicated rotation, prompting this tornado warning for DeKalb County and also for the edge of Kane County. So as we look a little tighter at this, I want to give you a track on it, because you do want to find that safe space in your home to take cover from this cell. So it's moving to the northeast at 60, near Hinckley, near Waterman, and moving toward Cortland and Elgin. Now, with it going 60 miles per hour to the north and east, that means there will be a lot of communities that will quickly have to deal with this activity, especially through Kane County. So this would actually be north of Aurora. So moving into Virgil at 1140, Campton Hills 1145, then into St. Charles at 1150, into Elgin 1154. And if it were to hold together past the midnight time frame, 1204 would be Schaumburg. But right now it is looking like this would be able to expire at midnight. Now we're seeing this incredible wind gust too, to 62 miles per hour in McHenry, and that's going to be the case really as these lines of severe weather all line up along this squall line. So I want to show you this intensity with that tornadic rotation showing up DeKalb County, right on the border of DeKalb County and Kane County. A lot of lightning showing up. We did put it up here so you can just see that wall of lightning, but that tornado warning for DeKalb and Kane County is in effect until midnight. Individual rotation showing up there. That cell is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So as we put Futurecast on, these showers and storms are going to be moving into the city shortly after midnight into the 1 a.m. time frame, and then into northwest Indiana. And we also have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 2 a.m. But our concern really is with this particular cell. It's just south of DeKalb, west of Aurora, as it's moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. So I want to give you a closer look at this cell, because if we go in a little bit tighter on it, we can try to find that rotation with it, and we can tell you that, oh boy, it's moving really quickly actually to the northeast. It was near Waterman, but now the area that we're actually looking at is closing in here on Maple Park, where we're seeing that couplet of a little bit of rotation here, now just to the west of you. And again, the movement is to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. So we are going to see this area of rotation cross 88. So it's very near Pierce, headed for Maple Park, headed for Virgil as well. So if we go to our street level mapping, you can see that actually that area of low pressure, or that couplet is actually crossing I-88 there, heading into Maple Park. It's not tightly wound up on our velocity signature here, but we do see it showing up there right where you have the red on the right, the green on the left. Okay, there was the new sweep on the radar. So now Maple Park, your area is seeing this rotation. So if you live in Maple Park, Virgil, Lily Lake, even into Elburn, I would suggest taking shelter in the lowest level of your home, because you want to put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. So if you don't have a basement, go to an interior bathroom. If you do have a basement, underneath the stairwell is the best place for you to go, because that way you're putting many layers of your home between you and the outdoors, of course, where this is going. So just to back it up a little bit, this tornado warning in effect until midnight, and that's for DeKalb County leading into Kane County. So really the focus now is moving into Kane County. So we're talking Maple Park, Virgil, that's the area where we are seeing that rotation showing up on radar. So we'll turn on the radar here so you can see that. This whole line of thunderstorm activity has prompted severe thunderstorm warnings and this individual tornado warning. So there's another look at it. We have it until midnight for this rotation that's taking place. But let's put a fresh track on it, because it is just moving so quickly to the north and east at 60 miles per hour. So if we put on the velocity signature, then you can see where that rotation is. So it's almost to the corner of this map, up here near Maple Park, near Virgil, also Hampshire, Elgin, and maybe even Algonquin would be a place that would have to deal with this cell. So I want to back it up a little bit so we can put this track on the actual individual cell, move it to the northeast all the way up to 60 miles per hour. Boy, we're going to be going off the charts here. But Elgin, 11:53. That's a time that you would want to take cover in the lowest level of your home for this tornadic activity to move in. Also into Algonquin at 11:58. Now the tornado warning is in effect until midnight, but if it should hold together, or sometimes one tornado can actually spawn another one, that would mean McHenry at 12:09. Then we're talking Waukegan maybe at 12:24. But right now it's near Maple Park and Virgil, that tornadic cell pulling out of DeKalb County, moving into Kane County, crossing over I-88 and moving to the north and east at 60 miles per hour. This is radar indicated. So if you see your town along this line, you do want to take cover in the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. So an interior bathroom would be an excellent place to go, or in your basement, especially below the stairwell. If you have a basement, that would be the opportune place to go. So this tornado warning has been radar indicated rotation. Storm spotters have not seen anything on the ground just yet, but there's so much rain wrapped around these storms when they move in that these tornadoes can actually be rain wrapped as well. And of course it's dark outside, so it's impossible sometimes to see these as they move so quickly, because this particular one is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. And as we track our cells tonight, we have many severe thunderstorm warnings as well, and those are all going to be moving into the city too. In fact, I'm going to give you a closer look now at those, because we do have a long line of showers and thunderstorms that are all tacked onto this squall line as they move to the northeast. So you can almost see every county from McHenry County to DeKalb County, down through Aurora and into Morris and Ottawa, even now Joliet, Western Kankakee County. Everybody under severe thunderstorm warnings as this system races to the east. But it's that tornado warning that we're watching moving into DeKalb County, or out of DeKalb County into Kane County. That's our concern right now. So it's a very small area compared to this entire line that we're seeing. And it's from Big Rock all the way up to Virgil. But that rotation up in the corner there near Virgil, that's where we're seeing the best part of that rotation. So if you live in Elgin, that's another place where this cell is going to be moving, and we could see those straight line winds along this line as well. So now the National Weather Service is kind of looking at multiple areas of rotation that we're looking at for the western suburbs. And I'm just reading their latest track here. Power has been flickering off in spots, says one storm spotter in DeKalb County. But also areas of rotation continue to line up there. New severe thunderstorm warning also. Okay, this one does include for Cook County now. So that's a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that we have in place. That's in effect until 1 a.m. So we have Lake County now added in Illinois, DuPage County, Cook County. Okay, all of these storms are moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Okay, so now we have this brand new tornado warning that we are watching, and this is for DuPage, Kane, and Kendall counties. Okay, so this is a wide area on this one, and this is because of what the Weather Service was seeing, those multiple quick spin-ups all along that straight line of where we've had straight line wind damage tacked on to that whole squall line as it moves in. So it's a line from Sycamore to Elburn to Yorkville, just to the northwest of Minooka. The whole line itself is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So I want to recap this tornado warning map so you can see exactly what we're talking about as far as what counties now have the warnings, because it's all moving away from you in DeKalb County and focusing on Kane County. So it's Kane, the edge now of DuPage, and down into Kendall County. So we're talking from Rutland to Captain Hills to Aurora, down into Kendall, where we have those tornado warnings. And those are all in effect currently. Radar indicated rotation so far with these, and they are moving. The whole line is moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. But it's interesting because individual thunderstorms have been moving to the northeast at 60 and 70 miles per hour, much, much faster. But right now, these are the current tornado warnings. So if you live anywhere in Kane County, you definitely want to take cover in the lowest level of your home, because showers and storms are continuing to form, not only severe thunderstorms, but also we are seeing this line of tornadic activity take shape as well. It's kind of hard to see on this map, but I want to take a little look on velocity now just to see if we can see where we are getting these strong winds. So we're getting very strong winds down here just to the southeast of Yorkville, so near Seaward. We're talking about this area that, let's see, is just to the west of Seaward. And that whole area here with those little blue pixels, that indicates where we have some high winds that are moving along that line. And then up to the north near Oswego and Sugar Grove, those are spots where we could see those quick spin-ups of rotation. So we're talking all along this line where the green is meeting the red, and that's the area that the National Weather Service is most concerned about with these tornado warnings, even up near Blackberry and Kempton Hills, and again up near Virgil as well. So severe thunderstorm warnings have prompted these tornado warnings now because of the circulations that are showing up almost as these little notches all along. When we look at this radar turned velocity signature, you can see these little hooks that have kind of peaked out along this. That tells us that that's where the strongest winds are, and that's where the rotations also are headed. So really those multiple areas of rotation really kind of heading near Yorkville, near Sugar Grove. Those are places too where you want to take cover in the lowest area of your home, because storms themselves are racing to the east and northeast at almost 70 miles per hour. But as far as individual cells, those are the fastest. But the whole line itself, right along this tornado warning, is moving northeast at about 40. So we're talking a 40 mile per hour wind movement to the north and east. So the areas that we're talking about here, I want to put this there we go, this track up here, so we know what areas that we're talking about. So if you live in Aurora, that's a spot where we are seeing the tornado warning until midnight, and that one you want to take cover because we are going to see it move to the north and east. So Aurora, the timing is 11:55. Then as we get into Plainfield, just after midnight until 12:01. Elgin is 12:05, and this will move through Plainfield as well, Elgin as well, Naperville perhaps at 12:11. So the movement of this whole line is to the northeast at 40, but the individual severe thunderstorms have been racing northeast at 60, some even almost at 65 miles per hour. So this is the latest track. If you're in Naperville, McHenry, Downers Grove, Palatine, even at the airports too, we are going to have this rotation move through. So you want to take cover in the lowest level of your home. Let's go over to Kylee now, who has more on this severe outbreak tonight. Kylee.
Absolutely. So we have been telling everybody, so this is a nocturnal event. This is happening at night. So even if you try to look out the window, you might see just a lot of heavy rain and a lot of strong winds, but what you may not see is a tornado if there is one on the ground. Again, these have just been radar indicated. But I want to show everybody this area of low pressure. So it's not just us getting impacted with these severe storms, it's all the way down to the deep south. So we have a low-level jet that is just sucking up a lot of moisture from the Gulf, and that is creating a lot of these strong storms. So again, we have that tornado warning for DuPage, Kane, and Kendall. It now goes until 12:15 a.m. So within this large line, we're seeing a lot of different little notches, a little bit of spin, and that is what we are keeping a close eye on when we are taking a look at velocity. So again, like Mary Kay mentioned, it's moving up towards the northeast around 40 miles per hour up towards about 45. So we're keeping a very close eye on that. I want to show everyone our velocity a little bit too, and I want to show everybody the rotation detector. So it looks like this line does have a history of producing some rotation. This is what we look for. We look for a lot of wind shear. Powerful winds are associated with this as well. So even if you're not under that tornado warning, it's just a select few areas, you're not in the clear. We have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings to talk about too. Here's a look at our debris detector since we do have that tornado warning. It looks like maybe Campton Hill's seeing a little bit of something. We're going to have to keep a close eye on that and see if there's an area that is dealing with some of that debris. But as you can see, the progression of this storm system moving up towards the north and east. So it is moving actually at a pretty good clip. I do just want to pull this down just a little bit so you can see again Aurora getting these heavy bands of rainfall. So as we go ahead and take a look at the warning one more time, we have severe thunderstorm warnings now for Cook County, back into Lake County, back into McHenry County, and these severe thunderstorm warnings also have a tornado possible tag. So the rain is not moving into Chicago just yet. We're starting to see that wind though really gusting upwards of about 40 to 50 miles per hour. You can see that this is a broken line, so and it's a little bit more widespread, but the main area that we are keeping a close eye on is DuPage, Kane, as well as Kendall. Again, radar indicated source. I've been keeping a close eye on some of the storm spotters out there. They have seen the shelf cloud, but so far we're just keeping a close look at a few little notches. Now the severe thunderstorm watch still issued for the remainder of northwest Indiana counties, Lake, Porter, Newton, Jasper, and Benton. It does say from the National Weather Service. It looks like DeKalb County Sheriff's Office reported a tornado at Beth Road and County Line Road in Maple Park. So that looks like that's coming in from the National Weather Service. Sirens have been activated. So if we could look into that for the crew here at CBS Chicago. Again, tornado warning for DuPage, Kane, as well as Kendall. You can see the surrounding areas still under that severe thunderstorm warning. So even though that tornado threat has passed out of DeKalb, you're still not in the woods. We are still dealing with heavy amounts of rainfall and the potential for a few more spin up tornadoes that could prompt more tornado warnings. So again, if you're under the tornado warning, if you're under the severe thunderstorm warning, you need to seek shelter immediately. Get away from windows, get away from doors, make sure that all your devices are they're hopefully charged. But since this is a nighttime event, if you look out the window, you're not going to really see anything either. It's just going to be very windy. So I want to put the radar back on so we can see exactly what is happening. Again, that polygon is beating red, but as I go ahead and pan up just a little bit, moving into parts of Kane County, DeKalb County, we are seeing a little bit of notches. Strong winds are being detected too, upwards of about 60 miles per hour. So again, ahead of this line, Cook County really not seeing much yet. These are a few discrete cells. We had a really strong line form. This is a powerful area of low pressure. Today, temperatures hit 70, 80 degrees. That's a lot of fuel for us to work with in the atmosphere, and that has prompted these warnings to already spark up. So I want to show you futurecast. So what you can see, I'm going to take this off too so you can see a little bit in a better picture. So futurecast, the clock is going to be starting here at around midnight. It's continuing to move through the heart of the city. It's going to be impacting you within the next about 15 to 30 minutes. Mary Kay just did put a storm track on it. So for the rest of the area, including now northwest Indiana, under those severe thunderstorm watches. So you have just been included in that severe thunderstorm watch. We're also talking about some very strong winds as well, but I do want to back up and go back to the radar so we can really take a deeper dive and a closer picture of what is actually happening. So again, for those just now joining us, we have a tornado warning, and this goes until 12:15 for DuPage, Kane, and Kendall. I want to go ahead and put the radar on now as well, and then we're going to do a storm track. So here's a look at the radar. You can see that polygon again beating in red. I'm going to put a storm track because this is moving at a pretty decent clip. It's moving at about 45 miles per hour towards the northeast. So we're going to back it up here, and we're going to put that storm track. So Aurora, you're going to get impacted at 11:58. That is in just a matter of a few minutes. Make sure that you get to your safe place right now. Plainfield 12:01, Joliet 12:08, 12:16 for Lisle, McHenry 12:19. We will have to see if this tornado warning does get extended up towards the northeast. It looks like York 12:26 our time, O'Hare 12:35, Midway 12:44, 12:41 that is. You will get impacted, and Gurney at 12:45. For Chicago downtown, as we predicted, about 1 a.m. So this is an overnight threat that we are dealing with. I'm looking at some pictures that hopefully we're going to be bringing to you as well. It looks very ominous with our sky conditions. We have our street side studio here in the Loop. Currently just cloudy skies, very windy conditions, dry conditions now. So I know this is a big time that a lot of people are out. It is Friday night. You need to seek shelter, especially if you're under one of those warnings that a good majority of us are actually under. So I want to turn on the velocity, and we're going to be clearing this. So I want to see if we can look at any other little bits of rotation. We're going to back up here just a little bit, and then we're going to put that radar back on, and we're going to see if we can take a look at the velocity and then the storm relative velocity. And as we zoom in, it does look like that maybe that tornado warning has been trimmed down. Mary Kay, does it look like it has been trimmed down, or is it just looking like that on my screen? I'm going to kind of pull back just a little bit.
No, you are right. You are right.
Yeah, it looks like it trimmed down just a little bit.
Yes. Because it's moving so fast.
Yeah, it is moving so fast now. So we're going to go back to the warning because that's good news, but it's moving so fast. It's moving up towards the north and east. So it's just for DuPage as well as Kane County. Again, still until 12:15. Now, here's a look at that new radar scan. This scans every few minutes, giving us new weather data. This is important data. So again, Geneva, if you're in this area, make sure that you seek shelter immediately. Here's a look at the rotation. So you can see a little bit of reds and greens popping up here on radar. That means we have a little bit of rotation, a little bit of couplet activity. So let's go ahead and put a storm track on this, and we're going to talk about a few more locations. Again, like Mary Kay said, this is moving quite quickly, and we're going to put it there around 40-45 miles per hour. Could be moving actually a little bit quicker than that, but it looks like it's going to be impacting at 12:08 Winfield, Schaumburg 12:16, Palatine 12:22, 12:32 for Wheeling, Libertyville 12:36, 12:40 West Deerfield, and 12:47 in Waukegan. So that is going to be the latest storm track. Again, it has been trimmed down just a little bit, but as we put the warning back up, here we go. It looks like just DuPage, Kane County still until 12:15. 12:15. So as you can see that we're dealing with a few of these notches, it's not that confined line as much as that we saw earlier today, but regardless, a tornado warning means you need to seek shelter immediately. And we also have quite a few of these severe thunderstorm warnings as well from Lake County back into McHenry County. It looks like even into Wisconsin. Cook County, you're also included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Just give this, just take this as a heads up, especially since it's Friday night. A lot of people are probably out celebrating some of the festivities coming tomorrow, like the river dyeing. We are under that weather alert until 12:15, and then I want to scoot over to the severe thunderstorm warning just a little bit to see what time that one does get canceled. So let me see if I can put that up, move over just a little bit into Cook County. I'm sure it's going to be going into about the 12:30, the 1 o'clock hour or so. Mary Kay, I'm going to be asking you the Cook County severe thunderstorm warning. What time does that go until? I was going to say about 1 a.m. or so. So 1 a.m. Let's go ahead and bring up some more data. I want to take a look at the debris detectivity, putting it back on radar. We're going to be moving up here. So again, we have this tornado warning for those just now joining us. It has trimmed down slightly, but it's for DuPage as well as Kane County. So I do want to put the debris. This is what we look at for the correlation coefficient to see if we have anything that is non-uniform, non-meteorological for in the atmosphere getting lofted above. It looks like I might have to walk over to my computer to do that. In the meantime, again, we do have that tornado warning for DuPage and Kane counties. Mary Kay, I'm going to be sending it back your way. I'm going to get that correlation coefficient up. It looks like my remote is not working at the moment, so I'm going to send it back over to you. I know we have a lot going on. Tornado warning in place for a few counties, and we also have quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings as well.
Right, so we do have this tornado warning highlighted. I want to quickly click though on this severe thunderstorm warning because that's brand new, and that is for Ford, Grundy, Kendall, and Will. Tornado is possible because we're having these quick spin-ups of rotation. So just know that you have a chance. This should be treated almost like there is a tornado warning because it could, tornado possible tag on it, it could rotate. So Ford, Grundy, Kendall, and Will counties. That's a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 12:30 in the morning. But as far as current tornado warnings go, we have one area that we are carefully monitoring. It has been trimmed back just a bit, but it's right over Elgin and the tip of it cutting into Aurora. So that's where we have this tornado warning. It is radar indicated for DuPage and Kane County until 12:15. Individual cells have been moving to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour, but this whole line is moving at 40. So the individual cells are faster, and some of them can quickly spin up. So as we look tighter here at the radar, Algonquin, this is a place where you're going to see storms, but Elgin is kind of taking the height of this right now, also into Wayne, just to the south of you. And then on the southern edge of that warned area, Batavia is right in the center. Naperville, you are on track to have some very strong winds moving in shortly because everything is moving in your direction, kind of riding along I-88. And when we look at Doppler winds, we want to look for those areas of rotation and where we see the outgoing winds coming together with the inbound. That's where we start to see those couplets taking shape. So zooming in on these Doppler winds on that warned area, we see from Dundee to Elgin to South Elgin, those are places that do have the high winds. I'm not seeing any organized couplets at this time, but straight line wind damage is a good possibility along this tornado warning as it is moving to the north and east. And then we we see down here into Warrenville and Naperville and Winfield, that's another spot where we could have that straight line wind damage. Wind gusts could be very strong tonight, between 60 and 70 miles per hour right along the storm path. So we put a track on this tornado warning right now. So if you're on this list or anywhere near that, you do want to take precautions and go put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. If you don't have a basement, go into an interior room without windows. Or if you do have a basement, the best place is underneath the stairwell. So in Wheaton here, 12:08, we are expecting to see this very strong thunderstorm with rotation move overhead. Again, this is radar indicated rotation coming in from the National Weather Service that has prompted this tornado warning. Schaumburg, that's next on the list at 12:12, then going into Palatine, 12:19. O'Hare will be affected with this as well, this very strong thunderstorm that has created that rotation, indicating this tornado warned storm going into Wheeling at 12:27. Chicago Executive Airport, 12:29. If it holds together, Jefferson Park at 12:37. But the forward speed of the individual cells are kind of outrunning the whole line of them. Wind gusts have been super strong. Right now, winds are gusting to 45 in Aurora, 40 mile per hour winds in Morris, and we are seeing that this squall line now is pushing closer to the city. A lot of lightning along it. We still have that tornado warning for part of Kane County and even into the very edge of DuPage. That's until 12:15. We have a few more minutes of that radar indicated rotation. A lot of lightning, a lot of wind along this boundary, but notice the fast forward speed. We are expecting this to move very quickly, but the straight line wind damage and the chance for tornadoes, that is the biggest fear with this. And as we look at model data too with Futurecast, it puts it in the 1 o'clock hour through the city into northwest Indiana, and then everything is gone by daybreak. Take another look at this. So into 1 a.m., 2 a.m. going through the city, then into Gary, and then 3 a.m. into LaPorte, and then finally moving out of the picture. But right now we have the severe thunderstorm watch for all of northeast Illinois and northwest Indiana until 2 a.m. To the south of the Kankakee River Valley, that's where we have the tornado watch in effect. But it's that one individual cell that we're looking at here in Kane County. It has been trimmed back. So in western Kane County, conditions are not showing that rotation at all. But when you're closer to northeastern Kane County, that's where we're seeing that active weather. But I think this is quickly pulling through Elgin, pulling through Algonquin as well. I'll put a stop on the radar. Let's get a current sweep of the velocity to see if we can see that signature. See, I feel like we're seeing a lot of straight line winds now instead of actual couplets, and that's what's so difficult along these lines of severe weather. Is to see, you can't really pick out these areas of rotation because of it going so quickly and then just kind of getting washed up in that squall line. But the strongest winds right now look to be just east of Elgin, near Lisle to Joliet to Herscher. That's where we're seeing this straight line wind, where we could see damage with this whole squall line as it's moving to the east-northeast. The line is moving at 40 miles per hour, but when we check First Alert radar here, you can see that that whole line is filling in now and getting closer to the city of Chicago as well. So as far as the tornado warning goes, it's 12:07 right now. And it's in effect until 12:15 for that small area from Elgin to Aurora. So right here, including St. Charles, south of you in Algonquin. But boy, in Algonquin, you are close to that. So the towns where you should take cover, I would say Barrington Hills as well, just because it's uncomfortably close to you and it is racing to the east-northeast. Dundee, that's a place where you want to take cover. Elgin, especially Pine Grove, South Elgin, all the way down to Wayne. That's another spot because it does lead into the edge of DuPage County, St. Charles, and Batavia. Also, along I-88 there, that's part of the tornado warning as well, as storms are continuing to move across this line. So here is the current tornado warning that's in effect for another few minutes here until 12:15. So we are talking basically from Algonquin to Aurora, where you want to take cover because of this radar indicated rotation that was showing up. But right now, we're kind of losing that identity of the squall line as all of that rain is starting to fill into Chicago. But we do have a ton of lightning out there as well, now pushing into the city. So downpours and thunderstorms are going to be increasing in the city. We're already seeing that around Wrigleyville, Jefferson Park, into the city, back through Elmwood Park as well. So here's a live picture of Wrigleyville, right? That's what you said? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes, okay. Oh yes, I see now. Okay, yes, and that is a place that has an incredible amount of rain right now and wind with it. We don't have any rotation there, but from Lakeview to Lincoln Square to Edgewater, that is a place where we are seeing some very heavy rain. And also the winds are going to be increasing too as this line pushes into the North Shore all the way to Wrigleyville and to the city and eventually to Chicago's lakefront, because our squall line now is filling in across Northeast Illinois, and that's what has prompted these warnings for us. So we still have the tornado warning for a couple more minutes up into Kane County. And also, there's going to be actually new information coming in. And Kylie, you may want to tee this up. A new tornado warning coming for DuPage and Cook County. So Hanover Park, that is a spot where we are starting to see some circulation. Let's see. No, now they just edited that actually and took it off.
But but we have a few severe thunderstorm warnings that have been canceled, Grundy as well as Kendall. But severe thunderstorm warnings still do continue for Kankakee areas southward. So yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on what the National Weather Service is saying about that possible new tornado warning. But that was exactly where you were pointing out, because these storms are moving so fast up towards the north and towards the east too.
Exactly. It's just moving so fast, and sometimes these squall lines really amp up and pick up in forward speed, but now everything is kind of closing in on DuPage and Cook County, and then eventually we'll shoot over the lake as well.
That's right. And even looking at the lightning strikes that are popping up too, it's not so organized anymore. So you can see that all of these lightning bolts are starting to spread out a little bit more. It looks like the complete line is starting to weaken a little bit. I mean, yes, it is still very potent, but it's not as strong as what it once was when it was moving over through the majority of the country. And that's because it's losing steam. It is now nighttime. The rain is cooling down our temperatures. It doesn't have as much oomph as what it had just about an hour ago. So it looks like the correction to the earlier message, as the tornado warning was being prepared, the circulation did end. A line of severe thunderstorms with straight line winds still continues, but of course we're still going to be monitoring these small embedded areas of rotation with localized areas of significant straight line wind damage. And that's what we are starting to see a little bit more, is more strong, extremely strong winds with gusts over 50, even 60 miles per hour. I mean, coming into work today, I saw a lot of areas, a lot of locations, a lot of just shops around here who had the patios out because it was so warm. They were hunkering everything down as they should. But again, we're still monitoring that one tornado warning that is for DuPage as well as Kane County. So far, it has been radar indicated. It is flashing up on that polygon right there. We're also giving you a live picture at what is happening at Daley Plaza. Here's another one of those live pictures. Doesn't look like we are seeing a whole lot there, just a few raindrops on the lens. I want to go ahead and show the picture of Midway, and if we can take Max 1, that would be great too, so we can kind of go over everything a little bit more. We only have a few more minutes of this tornado warning unless the National Weather Service does continue it. So we're keeping a close eye. DuPage as well as Kane counties still under that tornado warning. Of course, we're taking a live look right now over Midway, seeing that increasing cloud cover. That camera was shaking a little bit. This is a powerful storm system. I mean, look at how far south it does roll. But as I was mentioning, we're dealing with a lot of lightning, that cloud ground lightning. So if you are outdoors, this is very dangerous on top of the severe storms. Again, we still do have that tornado warning with that damage possible tag. This is radar indicated for DuPage as well as Kane County, sections of those counties. So this goes until 12:15. So we are almost there, folks, but you need to stay in your safe place until we give you the all clear. Places just off towards the west, again, Cook County, even back into Downers Grove, Schaumburg, stay in your safe place too, because these severe thunderstorm warnings still have that tornado possible tag. So again, we are seeing a little bit of rotation, especially within DuPage as well as Kane County. A lot of lightning strikes though being detected from Cook County back over to DuPage County, even into Lake County. We're still staying on though because this threat has a tornado possible tag, so that means we could see a little bit of rotation. It's just these systems. Whenever we get one of these squall lines, these quasi-linear convective systems rolling through, they pack a punch in a short amount of time, and some of the cells can turn up and rotate very quickly. So the reason why we have a considerable tag on this severe thunderstorm warning for, again, Cook, DuPage, as well as Lake County is due to the fact that the winds 70 miles per hour. So very strong winds. So this includes the Chicagoland region, including the Loop, River North. You need to seek shelter, get into your safe place, even though you're not under a tornado warning, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, you still need to seek shelter because, as we've been seeing from time to time, some of these very quick spin ups too, especially for Algonquin, back into McHenry, we're keeping a close eye. I mean, the storm system is moving up towards the north and towards the east. Again, the tornado warning until 12:15, so we just have a little bit longer to go. There has been detection of rotation. It has been weak detection, but that is what we suspect with a storm system this powerful. We're really keeping a close eye on those strong straight line winds, and we will have to take note if there's any power outages. So maybe my producer, my ear, if we can take a look at some of those power outages, if we're seeing any of that debris, if we're seeing any of those areas that don't have power anymore. This is the debris detector that I was trying to put on a little while ago. It looks like everything is uniform, so we're not seeing anything in that nature at the moment. And I believe now that tornado warning has been canceled due to the fact that we hit the time at 12:15. So I'm just going to back up here a little bit. Yep, the tornado warning has since been canceled. We ran out of the 12:15 time frame, but again, we're keeping a close eye on Lake County back into Cook County. Again, Chicago, you're included in that. DuPage County, as well as to the south, places including Joliet, Kankakee, as well as Will County. So we still have this area that we're keeping a close eye on with this storm system. Can you repeat that? Did you say toss to Mary Kay? I'm going to toss to Erica here in studio with me. Erica, it looks like you have some updates.
Yes, we want to take you through some of the images that we're seeing from our cameras throughout the city. Of course, you're watching our CBS News Chicago weather alert coverage. As Kylee just mentioned, the tornado warning from the area that she's been covering for the last hour or so has been canceled. However, as she's been telling you, along with Mary Kay, we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning. So we want to first start with Daley Plaza here. This is right outside of our studios, and as you can can see the rain has been falling. We haven't seen a lot of wind, but we have seen the rain falling sort of at an angle. It's sort of eased up probably within the last 5 minutes or so as we continue to watch people run for cover within the last 15 minutes out here at Daley Plaza. We want to also take you to our Willis Tower camera. This is facing southeast, just a wide view. Right now we're not seeing a lot of lightning strikes, but that could be coming, as Mary Kay and Kylee have said, with this severe weather threat and thunderstorms. And this is overlooking Grant Park, another view of the city right down here in the loop where we have been tracking the storms that are moving through. And Mary Kay showed you earlier Wrigleyville. That is one area where we were really seeing the rain coming down. And from here you can see it's still happening there. The reflection on the road, you can tell that it is wet. And right now, cars going through the intersection at a slow pace, thankfully. We want to make sure that everyone is staying safe out there, whether you're walking in this, hopefully getting to cover, or if you are driving. So a snapshot here of what we're seeing, at least in the Chicago area within the loop. Most of that severe weather, when it came to the tornado warning, is happening to the west of the city. But just within the last 2.5 minutes or so, that tornado warning that has been in effect has expired. I want to send it back to meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist, who's been tracking this. Mary Kay, it expired, that tornado warning, at 12:15, but I know you're keeping a close eye on what could be coming again from the west, as well as the severe thunderstorm warnings that you've also been looking at.
Exactly, Erica. So right now we do not have any tornado warnings in effect. I just want to make that clear. The one was allowed to expire. But we do have severe thunderstorm warnings to talk about, and these include Cook County, DuPage County, and Lake County, all in effect until 1 a.m. These do have that tornado possible tag on them, meaning that the National Weather Service has noticed that along this line of severe thunderstorms, there have been small areas of rotation as this squall line made way through our western suburbs and now is starting to close in on Cook County. So when you have those opportunities to have those quick spin-ups, they tag these warnings and call them tornado possible. But right now it's a severe thunderstorm warning until 1 a.m., moving closer to the heart of the city. Now, the strongest cells could contain damaging winds gusting to 70 miles per hour. That's tropical storm force winds. So this is all part of the squall line. Now, the line itself is moving to the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour, but the individual cells are racing much faster. So I want to give you a time frame now on the strongest part of this squall line that is moving right into Cook County. So we're seeing York 12:16, O'Hare 12:25, Chicago Executive Airport after that. Then it's Midway also on the tail end of this because it really is taking much of Cook County. It's a whole squall line. It's not one individual cell. It's a line of severe thunderstorms. That's why we've had warnings come through just about every county in Northeast Illinois, and we kind of expected that today with all the ingredients coming together. Okay, then Chicago itself, 12:44, that's what we're expecting. And it's so interesting to note that the model runs even from last night all day today, really kind of pinpointed the city in that midnight hour. So it has played out and kind of tied in with the models. And now the National Weather Service is saying, even though this squall line is so impressive here, as we look at it, a lot of lightning tagged on it as well, it's losing some of the chances to have a lot of tornadic activity up here on the north end. Instead, it's going to be straight line wind damage, meaning you could have individual wind gusts to 70 miles per hour. Downstate is where they have the tornado watch, and boy, around Champaign, multiple tornado warnings right now. We just have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings for Lake County, DuPage County, Cook County, Will County, and Kankakee. This is going to step over the state line into northwest Indiana. So I think our next warning is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for Lake County and probably Newton and eventually Jasper and Porter as well. But it is breaking up a little bit on the north end of this, but really we have to watch for straight line wind damage. And when we look at model data to take us through the rest of the timing of this, that 1 a.m. time frame, into the city, into northwest Indiana to 2. And let's roll it one more time because this quickly moves out by daybreak. So 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. into northwest Indiana, everything is out. Then we turn our attention to the high wind warning, which will be in effect at 7 a.m. Current watches now include northwest Indiana on this severe thunderstorm watch. The yellow area south of the Kankakee River Valley, that's a tornado watch, but it's a severe thunderstorm watch here for northeast Illinois. I think shortly too they'll start peeling off some of these far western counties because the storm front is now leaning into the city. And the squall line is going to be moving through the Kankakee River Valley. You can see it there, and eventually over the state line into northwest Indiana. So there's a lot of lightning firing up here in DuPage County, especially eastern DuPage. That's moving into Cook County. So to recap, we do not have any active tornado warnings at the moment. Doesn't take a lot for these cells to start rotating. However, since this is all tacked onto a squall line and it's moving closer to the lake, now we're talking more of a straight line damaging wind threat. Also want to make a quick note that in Maple Park in Kane County, our newsroom might want to check on this. I'm hearing that emergency managers are calling it possible tornado damage there in Maple Park. That's where we were zoomed in at the onset of our very first warning in DeKalb County and Kane County up there. Well, in Maple Park, they are looking at possible damage from that earlier warning that it could be tornado damage. But now we're dealing with this squall line, so we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 1 a.m. for the city, also all the way up to Kenosha County. Also Lake County, DuPage County, Will County, Kankakee, everybody here is under this severe thunderstorm warning. Storms are about to step over the state line into northwest Indiana, and I think that's where we're going to be adding chances for severe thunderstorm warnings. And Kylie, I'm just wondering, has the Weather Service said anything different about this line that's now moving into western Cook County?
So about the line, I have not seen anything yet, but we are starting to get reports of that damage, like you mentioned, in near the Maple Park area. They're going to have more detailed reports later. They're talking about possibly extending the warnings, not seeing anything on that yet as well. I've been looking at some of our storm reports, just seeing a lot of heavy winds. It looks like some buildings have some shingles ripped off, and that was close to the Maple Park area, so I'm sure that area got hit very hard, and even some damage happening in the Elgin area, which you were also reporting just towards the north of Aurora. So we are keeping a close eye on the latest storm reports. Every little circle that you see is one of these storm reports. They are coming in the last 3 hours. I'm sure we are going to continue to see more of these popping up here within the next a few hours or so, and then definitely tomorrow. So again, this is a nighttime event, so it is quite impressive that we're already getting reports of seeing some damage outdoors because it is nighttime. If the National Weather Service does have to go out and survey any storms, they are going to do so early tomorrow. It has to be daylight for them to do their job. So again, we're going to find more information definitely within the next few hours, but more likely within the next about 12 hours or so once we do have that sun going back up. Again, no more tornado warning. I'm not seeing any talks about adding another potential tornado warning at the moment, but again, with this squall line that's moving through, some of these cells can pop up very quickly. Erica, it seems like you have some information to share. I'll toss it over to you.
Yes, Kylie, you were talking about reports of damage, and we do have some viewers that are starting to send in video. This is coming from Chris Severson. You can see the sky lighting up, illuminated there. And from what Chris is telling us, this appears to be an electrical fire that's happening southwest of downtown Elgin. And you can see what could appear as just a glow from, businesses, lights nearby, but you're starting to see the light go and flash flashes and sort of an unsteady pace. And we haven't confirmed that this has been caused by a tornado or some sort of storm damage, but as both you, Kylee, and Mary Kay have mentioned, this area in downtown Elgin is within the location where we were seeing the tornado warning that just expired at 12:15. So that tornado warning encompassed downtown Elgin, and you were mentioning Maple Park in Kane County. So what we're seeing here, reports from Chris Severson of an electrical fire happening southwest of downtown Elgin. We don't know if there's been a fire response yet in terms of the fire department officials getting on the scene or to how extensive that damage is. But you can see, as you've mentioned, Kylee, this being at nighttime, a lot of times it's pitch black and you can't see what's going on. But this is significant enough that we can see that it's lighting up a large section of that area southwest of downtown Elgin. So thank you, Chris Severson, for sending this in. We're working to confirm exactly what the response is from emergency officials out there. And as Mary Kay and Kylee have mentioned, this is in addition to reports of potential damage from emergency officials in the Maple Park area of Kane County. So we'll be looking into that and of course have more information for you as we get it. So to our viewers out there, if you do have images that you want to send to us, please let us know. We want to make sure that we're keeping the public aware. So for now, I want to send it back over to our team of First Alert meteorologists.
Thanks so much, Erica. So we are also getting in multiple reports of trees, tree limbs, power lines down in McHenry County. So far, 29 power outages. So 2,013 customers are affected. So far, no injuries from that report that is coming in to our chat. There is currently not a tornado warning. So that is the good news, but we're still not out of the woods. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for numerous counties with a tornado possible tag. So that's why we are going to be staying on with you for a little bit longer, looking outside at our street side studios here in the Loop, just looking across from Dealey Plaza. The rain is coming down very heavily. If you are somewhere outdoors, you need to go indoors, especially if you're downtown Chicago in one of these highlighted areas. Severe thunderstorm warnings still go until 1 a.m. Cook, DuPage, Lake County, we're dealing with wind speed 70 miles per hour. That is impressive. Strong winds, tornadoes also possible, and that's why we do have that considerable tag. And then also for Kankakee as well as Will counties having the same threat, but this severe thunderstorm warning is set to expire at 12:30. So again, another about 1 to 2 minutes. Tornado possible tag 70 miles per hour. We have that considerable tag as well. So zooming in to the Loop, Chicago, again, we are dealing with that severe thunderstorm warning, and then even up into Lake County as well until 1 a.m. So we still have about a half an hour yet to go. I think pretty soon these watches are going to start to get trimmed off, especially from DeKalb County and back into LaSalle County, but they're going to remain across northwest Indiana as the progression of the storm system is pushing off west to east. Again, we are dealing with some of these reports coming in, just a lot of wind reports. Here is a look at how fast that this system is moving. So on the backside of the system, not too concerned. Yes, it is still heavy rainfall, a lot of strong winds, but it's this intense line exactly where you can see those reds popping up on radar from Lake County stretching back into Cook, even Grundy, Will County, and Kankakee County. That's exactly where we have those severe thunderstorm warnings, and that is what we are monitoring very closely at this moment. So popping on the radar, I do want to put it into still motion so we can see the radar scans, the radar.
A voice we missed. That's the news. I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm John Dickerson. Good night.
Good weekend.
What happens when the world's best journalists come together?
This was an entire building. It will take years to rebuild.
We're from CBS News, American television.
You get the all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
this case.
It's like a screenplay, something straight out of Hollywood.
But it's not fiction. It's 48 hours.
Human remains found this week.
Very quickly. Sometimes it's hard for the radar to scan quick enough and at the right elevation to catch how quickly that these actually do spin at these little couplets. So that's what I'm keeping a close eye on too. I'm also reading our chat just to make sure that we don't have anything that is going to come down here within the next few minutes. I want to put on the warnings once again, and I want to put on the radar too. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings along this big line where you can see the reds. Cook County, DuPage County, back into Lake County, Will County, Kankakee County are included in that too. But for Kankakee as well as Will County, yours is set to expire at 12:30. For the rest of the counties until 1 a.m. So we are going to be with you tracking it. It's moving very fast at a pretty good clip, moving upwards of about 45, 50, even at times 60 miles per hour. It is set to move through the loop, the heart of Chicago, within the next about 10 to 15 minutes. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and put a storm track so we can see the definite numbers and more areas that are going to be seeing this storm system moving through too. Again, moving at around 55 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put that storm track on. It looks like it did not like that exact go. So here we go again. We're going to try this one more time up from Lake County back towards Chicago, Cook County, and here we go. We're going to be dropping it off around 50 miles per hour. It's moving towards the northeast. So Chicago, 12:35-ish, so very soon, about 10, 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes, we are going to start to see this line moving through. For Hammett, 12:44, Gary, 12:53, for Keener, 1:05, Valpo, 1:12, and that's why you have been added under that severe thunderstorm watch box. All of Northwest Indiana has been included in that severe thunderstorm watch box because we are dealing with this fast-moving system. It's now moving a little bit more easterly instead of northeasterly. Wheatfield, 115, 120 for Michigan City, and Sipo, hopefully I'm saying that right, 130. Turning the radar back on, clearing the screen for you. We are dealing with quite a bit of rain, especially on the backside of that storm system. So again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Cook, DuPage, Lake County, and it looks like it trimmed down for portions of Will and Kankakee County, leaving the eastern sections. So if you're under one of these alerts, if you're in one of these counties, you need to seek shelter. Even though we're not talking about a tornado warning at the moment, these have a tornado possible attack, and we've been seeing time after time with this intense storm system that really moved across the entire country, how quickly that these severe cells do really pop up. They pop up in a short amount of time, so we want everyone to be prepared. On top of all that, we are dealing with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that can topple down trees, impacting your home, falling on your roof. Especially if you're in a high-rise apartment, you need to get to the lowest level immediately. And a great tip to also note is to wear shoes in case there is ever debris that does happen. Your feet will be protected. You will have shoes. So I want to go over our Futurecast model, your hour-by-hour forecast. Lake County back into Cook County, Kankakee County, really dealing with this storm system now, the brunt of it. Still on the backside, we're going to be dealing with some heavy rainfall from time to time, continuing to impact Northwest Indiana closer to about 2, 3 a.m. Strong gusty winds also expected with this storm system from start to finish, and once the rain is done and we give everybody the all clear, it is still going to be extremely windy, especially tomorrow. That's why weather alerts have been posted for today as well for the storm threat, and then tomorrow, and that's just because we are going to be dealing with some strong gusting winds. So far the winds have gusted upwards of about 40 perhaps even 45, 50 miles per hour at the surface, definitely higher aloft in some areas too. I want to put that radar back on so we can see exactly where that line is, and I want to put it in motion just to show everybody how fast it's moving. So as you can see, it's taking a really very quick northeasterly track, but it's eventually taking a more easterly track too. I think within the next about 15 to 20 minutes, instead of heading more northeast, it's going to be mainly east. I think we're going to see a little bit of a switch as this kind of pinwheels through the Chicagoland area. Taking a look at a velocity, and I'm going to zoom in on some specific areas, especially where I see a lot of the reds and oranges popping up. We're going to go over just a little bit more. We're going to be moving the camera over. So that's the problem with these really fast storm systems, is the rotation happens so quickly. So whenever we see reds and greens really lighting up on a radar, this is winds moving away from the radar and winds moving towards the radar. So that's where we're looking at seeing some of that shear, that rotation popping up. I want to put on our radar one more time and see if I can see anything different. Zooming back up. I am continuing to check our NWS chat too. Mary Kay, I'm going to ask you, are you seeing anything new information coming down from the National Weather Service?
You know, we are just getting storm spotters that are reporting to the National Weather Service about power outages in Aurora. There's 218 Aurora customers affected without power. Also, the Maple Park, there's an area there that's closed because not only down trees, but the power poles and wires have come down. This is 3 miles southwest of Maple Park up there in Kane County. So we're talking Pritchard Road between Perry Road and Harder Road. It's that intersection there. So you have the downed power poles and the wires, and that can be extremely dangerous just because it is dark outside, and obviously if anyone's driving around on area streets, it can be super dangerous. I was looking at wind speeds with this whole squall line as it comes through, and thankfully we don't have any tornado warnings to tell you about. But as far as strong winds go, I'm noticing up near the Kenosha line around Zion and maybe near Winthrop Harbor, still very gusty winds. Same is true for Evanston and on the north side of Chicago as well. But when we look here to the north, you can see Glencoe, Highland Park, those strongest winds now have pushed over the lake. Even though it's still windy, that highest wind gust has pushed over Lake Michigan. But Wrigleyville into Chicago down to Sox Park, that's where we're seeing some high winds. But the National Weather Service has been watching this area down in Kankakee County very carefully. And we're talking from Frankfort to Moni to Peatone here. You can see where this red area, green area, these are the Doppler winds that we monitor to see if we see any notches of rotation or any couplets where you could see that rotation of a tornado starting to form. We're not seeing that, but that is an area that right along 57 that is seeing those extremely strong winds right now. And I want to give you an update here, kind of a recap on where we have warnings. We have no tornado warnings, thank goodness, but we do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect until 1 a.m. for Cook, DuPage, also Lake County in Illinois. The eastern part of Will now, they've peeled off the west part of that, and the west part of Kankakee has been peeled out of it as well because of the fast forward speed of this whole squall line. We kind of knew it would play out like this, where almost every county would be touched with a warning at one point, and many together, because you're talking a squall line that is pushing these dramatic winds to the east. So damaging winds, straight line winds, I think are still an issue. You could still have some rotation, but now we're starting to lose some of the identity of the squall line, even though the winds embedded in it are pretty powerful. So we have the severe thunderstorm warning for the city of Chicago until 1 a.m. because of that storm movement. In fact, you can see how things are quieting lining down in DeKalb County now and in LaSalle County because it's moving so fast. The whole squall line itself is continuing to push over New Trier, push over their football stadium, and then eventually just push over the lake. So our storm tracking capabilities of this squall line now is pretty much going to take us over Lake Michigan. I want to widen this view and just show you, we still have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 2 a.m., but I'll bet they start peeling back, peel Rockford out of it, peel LaSalle out of it, and DeKalb as well, because you can see that the most intense storms are into the heart of the city. They're starting to cross the state line into northwest Indiana, and that's why they've added the severe thunderstorm watch for northwest Indiana, the edge of southwest lower Michigan, much of northern Indiana, in fact. This yellow area you see south, mainly south of the Kankakee River Valley, that's a tornado watch. Champaign has been dealing with multiple tornado warnings, so they kind of had that watch in the right spot. We have straight line wind damage with this line as it comes through, still holding on to that severe thunderstorm warning for Lake County, also Kenosha County, going into Cook County, DuPage County, and then the eastern parts of Will and Kankakee. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they added Lake County, Indiana, and maybe Newton County as well shortly to this because of the line moving in. Okay, and here's what they've done now. They've actually peeled all of our western suburbs out of the severe thunderstorm watch. That's good news. So McHenry, you're out of it. Kane County, finally, after that intense cell moved in. Maple Park is a spot where I bet the National Weather Service will have to go out and investigate this weekend just to note if it was a tornado, and if so, what kind of strength are we talking about? So now in Aurora, now in Morris and Ottawa, you are in the clear for severe thunderstorms. All of the warnings are leaning toward the lake. So this is a watch. This is a severe thunderstorm watch that now includes all of northwest Indiana because of the movement of this squall line. We knew it would be fast, so it's already gone from our far western suburbs, but it's going to be pushing east over the lake very shortly. So here's a last peek at this line. I'll roll it into motion. So they're carefully monitoring Kankakee County. Kylie, I think that's a place where we're still seeing those stronger clusters of thunderstorms and also the stronger winds. And it looks like we're losing identity with seeing much more in the way of significant rotations. But now that the squall line has moved into northeast Illinois, we're starting to see that straight line wind damage, I think, south of the city could still be an issue for us. So that's probably why they'll eventually include northwest Indiana in some way, shape, or form under part of this warning.
That is very right, Mary Kay. And we have been talking about all night long the potential for power outages, power lines to be down. We do have reports of that. Remember, if you ever see a power line that is down, treat it as it's very active. Don't go near it. Call the officials. I know it is very dark outdoors. Make sure that you have multiple ways to get weather alerts, because we are not done with this storm threat as it continues to move off towards the north and towards the east, but it is starting to at least lose steam, especially across our western counties. But as it continues to move closer to the lake and into northwest Indiana, we're going to keep a close eye on it. We're here all night for you, but we're going to send you back to your normally scheduled programming. Again, keep it here, your First Alert Weather Team on CBS News Chicago.
This has been a special weather alert from the CBS News Chicago First Alert Weather Team. CBS 2 News streams here. CBS News Chicago.